another new song. There's a lot of things I don't understand about God. Why he allows some things, why he doesn't allow other things, why... There's all sorts of questions I have. But one thing I really do believe, and that's Romans 8, verse 28. All things work together for good for those who love God. We might not understand things, but there's a reason for everything that happens. Anyway, let's learn this little song together. All things work for good, for good. All things work for good, for good. Those who live for God, for God. All things work for good, for good. For those who live for God. All things work for good for God. Said they would, and so they should. Romans 8 verse 28. It's good to live for God. All things work for good for those who live for God, for God. All things work for good for those who live for God. All things work for good for God. Said they would, and so they should. Romans 8 verse 28. It's good to live for what's more. All things work for good for those who live for God, for God. All things work for good for those who live for God. All things work for good for God. Said they would, and so they should. Romans 8 verse 28. It's good